Welcome to the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Jane Johnston, realtor here in Victoria, and this is a show where we cut through the noise and talk about what's actually happening in our local market.
I'm Andrew Plank, also a Victoria realtor. We'll talk stats, timing, neighborhoods, and what we're seeing behind the scenes.
And I'm Jen Lowe, mortgage broker. I'm the numbers person of the group, and I'll chime in with the mortgage side.
Each week, we break down what the market means for you.
All focused right here on Greater Victoria.
No hype, no pressure, just honest conversations, local insight, and practical advice.
Let's get into it.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. I'm Andrew Plank, and today we have with us...
I'm Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Center's Modern Mortgage Group.
Yeah,
nice to see you
part
today.
of the tripod. Yeah, you too. Yeah, the tripod, which is missing one leg today. We don't have Jane with us today, but Jane and Jen and I do the show every week, and we are excited to talk today about why we are so tired, why we look tired.
What's happening? Yeah.
What is going on in the Victoria real estate market? What's happening out there today? Why are we pulling our hair out? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to quickly get a lending update from Jen, and we're going to also go through our monthly market update. So let's get a lending update from Jen, and then we'll get right into it.
Sounds great. Okay, well, Friday was a big day, and that we had our Canadian job numbers come in, and they were much weaker than expected. So that's a sign that the labor market is cooling. And it's something that the Bank of Canada will be watching closely of its next rate announcement in June.
Right. Okay.
So
this is bad news for the economy, potentially good news for rates.
That's what happens. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we shouldn't celebrate this. It would not be politically correct.
It depends on who. Are you looking to get a mortgage or not? Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Okay. You're not going to get a mortgage without a job, though.
Yeah, if you're looking to get a job and you don't have one, that's not going to be a challenge
that's
for
a problem.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you,
the economy is slowing. So the next piece is inflation data. Which is the next piece that will come out and let us know for how the Bank of Canada, if they're going to react to that in June. Right now, again, like I feel it changes all the time, and there's no crystal ball. But there's definitely signs that we could be seeing some interest rate reductions on the variable rate side by the end of the year.
Okay. For those, I find, and this is maybe going to be part of our conversation today, but I find that people that are especially first-time buyers starting out or have limited funds and are really dependent on their jobs, obviously, for paying their mortgage over the years, as opposed to folks maybe who are financially stable, near retirement, are really feeling stable in their jobs, have a good nest egg. Those people are a lot more concerned when they start seeing this kind of data. So even if interest rates go down, they're still going to be the folks that are going to be waiting to see what happens because they can't afford to buy a home only to lose their job.
Very true. Yep.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for sure in trying to time the market and time, creating the strategy that works for your family is key. And trying to avoid all this noise because, like I said, there's no crystal ball, and I feel like every week there's something new that's happening in the world that's affecting our world.
I find some of us are more fear-based and some of us are more just darn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. And depending on how we're picking up these different news messages, the different data bits, they could be read either as positive in some ways, negative in another. There are certain people, I think, that will always be the more conservative in the way they make their decisions. You and I and Jane would probably say the same. And I am definitely have struggled with making decisions that are not fear-based, right? Like, oh, I'm like, you're spending a lot of money on a mortgage. Anything could happen, and am I going to be able to pay this off? And what's the worst that could happen? But going down that spiral or that road, on the average, I've seen, and I've said this before, I've seen most people who are at least more central or more positive in the way they have an outlook on life tend to do better. Just because overall time works in their favor. Lock in now, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, their home is worth more.
Yeah. Creating that strategy, that works for your family is the bottom line for sure.
You still have to deal with the reality of what's. Oh, Jane just sent a message. I thought she wasn't showing today. Is she? She says, "Are we on today in topic?" Sorry.
Yeah.
Should we?
I'll message her right now.
Okay, let's keep going. You message her, and we'll see if we can get her on to join us. I don't know why, but I thought she wasn't joining us today. And
I didn't think she was either.
For listening to us, we recorded a little earlier than normal today, and maybe we just didn't loop Jane in. She's getting shunted out of the system. Anyway, hopefully she'll be able to join us. In the meantime, why don't I go through? Okay, why don't we get into the stats then?
Sure.
And then we'll get into the topic is hoping that she can join us. Thanks again for that financing report, Jen.
Yeah, no problem.
So what we do is we watch for the changes week over week and report them back to you. So in this past week, 445 properties went live on the MLS system. And the week prior, it was 452. So we're a little lower week over week. That being said, I guess not everyone, again, wants to list their home before special weekends, like we had Mother's Day. And so that could impact it. But then at the same time, this coming week, we're also got the May Day long weekend. So
long weekend, right?
Yeah. So 176 properties went pending versus 200 the week before. So again, a little lower than the week before, which is again an interesting stat because it doesn't feel that way, which we're going to talk about soon. And 157.
The weather.
Oh, definitely phenomenal. Weather is another factor this time of year, which definitely distracts people from eyes on the prize for real estate. Because priorities, right? Priority at this point, if you've got some nice weather, is go and enjoy the weather.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jane just is not going to join us. She's just sent us a message, so she's not going to join. So price decreases 157 on the past week versus 205 the week before. So less motivation or less people decreasing price than in the past. So that's interesting as well, because that's a fairly significant difference. 157 versus 205.
That's a huge
52 properties expired unsold, 84 the week before. Yeah. So what does that tell us? Well, our list to sale ratio, the ratio between the number of properties that listed versus the number of properties that sold in the past 2 weeks. Last week was 39.55. That's down from 44.25 the week before. So definitely a weaker list to sale ratio in the past week. In terms of our month to date, we have actually Jane usually does this, but do you want to take this on?
Well, is this May month to date versus May last year, or are these April's numbers?
Oh, you know what? This would be May. This just wasn't updated for the month above. Yes, I'm sorry sorry, folks. This is for the month of May.
Okay. So so the net additional sales to date, we've got 214. versus May last year was 758. New listings, we've got 564, and this is as of Monday, as of yesterday, month to date versus 1834 last year. And then total active listings, we've got 3790 versus 3717
Right.
last year at the same time.
Okay, interesting. So given that we are, these stats would have been out on the 11th, which roughly speaking would have been a third of the way into the month. If we were to project out, we're still, if these numbers stay at the same pace, we're looking to not be matching last month's numbers. So that is interesting. Okay, so what were we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about what's with this market, because Jen and I were talking before the show about just how hard it's been to connect dots, I guess, for our clients. And Jen, maybe you want to speak a little bit to this, and then we'll get into the discussion. And
yeah, so it's definitely we were both kind of saying that our wheels are spinning and we're running, but nothing is necessarily transpiring the way it has in the past, which I feel like lots, buyers out there are, they have a lot of time. They don't have to rush, or they feel like they don't have to rush. So then they're holding off making one of the biggest decisions in their lives, right?
Understandable, yeah.
Yeah, but then that sometimes then all of a sudden is creating a situation that, oh, shoot, they've lost out on a particular property, or things haven't gone as they would have liked, or they didn't have their ducks in a row, and the perfect property comes along, and it's an interesting time. It seems to be a different spring market right now than in the past.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think in a spring market, generally you see a lot of selection, because spring market, people are putting their homes up on market. They're deciding to make the changes. Their homes are coming up on market. So you're seeing generally a good selection of properties for sale, which we have high inventory. There's no question. And then we also see buyers starting to come out of the woodwork and looking to buy. And so we do get a little bit more heat in the marketplace. What's been interesting is I feel like there's always a bit of a lag time, I think, and the market heats up, but buyers don't always realize it. Kind of like, to go back to the analogy that had, the frog in the pot analogy, or the frog, cooking a frog in a pot. It doesn't always
You've said this one before.
I have, yeah, because it makes you laugh. But you turn up the heat, it doesn't know it's getting heated. And buyers are the same way. They're not aware that around them everything's heating up, and they don't always hear even we the agents speaking to it, because you're going to take perhaps your agents, unless you have a really deep trust relationship with your agent, when someone says you better act fast, you're going to lose out. That can be sounding like a sales pitch. So that being said,
urgency.
There's not the urgency. And I have clients saying to me, well, the stats are showing this. They're showing properties are selling on, under asking price, and they're staying on market a long time. And yet every time one of those clients says, okay, I'm ready to write an offer, I finally found the home I want to buy, we are writing an offer only to find out that there's 3 other offers coming in at the same time. And so we just wrote an offer yesterday for some clients who we saw a property that's been on market for 3 months, no price reductions, no offers. And they thought about it over the weekend, which is totally within their rights. They talked to you about financing and making sure that they could make this work. And then when we wrote the offer, it turned out within literally 10 minutes of us submitting our offer, someone who had shown earlier that day also wrote an offer, and our offer did not get accepted. The other one did. and it's hard for people to hear that, if you like this, you should move fast, despite what you're hearing about the marketplace, because
Right.
you and I are both spinning our wheels a lot, making offers. I'm making offers that aren't going anywhere. We are trying our
You
best
can't
to
predict.
find the
Yeah,
right
you
home.
can't. Yeah, yeah. Are you finding open houses are busy? I'm hearing that, like, there's lots of people looking, but it's just that looking. There's not that
Mm.
urgency piece to take that next step because there's so much supply, I get, like.
Yeah. What I'm hearing from colleagues from my networking group, and what I'm also experiencing, because we've sold a number of our listings lately through open houses, it feels like buyers right now have changed their behavior a little bit. They're not calling their agent necessarily. They don't want to bother their agents. They're going to go for a weekending of open houses, and then they actually find something they like, and then they buy it. And I am, both anecdotally and through personal, sales experience, seeing more than average homes selling through conducting open houses. They're not all busy open houses. Sometimes you only get 2 people through, but one of those people writes the offer. But it's surprising to me that people are coming through, and especially, for example, I'm thinking of one property. We had a lot of open houses over a number of weeks, and every open house was really well attended, but in between we weren't getting showings. So what's with
That's
that?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just generally, I think, going back to what you were saying with the temperature of the mortgage rates, and the fact that we've got these various reports coming out, and maybe mortgage rates might be coming down because the economy is softening. I think the difficulty for a lot of buyers is they do get all these mixed messages, and I think it's really important to get back to, and this gets a little woo-woo, but get back to your intention. Get back to what is it you're really after here, and are you looking for security? Are you looking for safety? Are you looking for a home? Are you, and if you're looking for a home for your family, are you going to let these other things distract you from your goals?
And it's the same conversation around choosing the best rate and the best
Yeah.
mortgage, right? Like,
Right.
what do you want? The security of a fixed rate, or
Right.
do you want the lowest rate possible? And definitely
Right.
when clients are wanting, or we want the best rate. Okay, well, if you want the lowest rate, we should be exploring variable.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that usually gets people to think and go, okay, well, yeah, you really should be. And then
Yeah.
I go through the different types of variable rates and that kind of thing as well. But definitely, there's so much information available at our fingertips now. It's almost too much, that more and more, how do you make a decision?
Right. Well, again, that's, having really clear conversations with your loved ones, with the professionals in your corner. When I really understand what a client's looking for, it really helps me dial in and recognize and find, and sometimes pull a rabbit out of a hat, or, see what's under, discover something that wasn't necessarily on the radar. Because we can sometimes shake the trees and find it, but without that really clear mandate from the client, and it's very difficult. And so, as an example, and you probably see this with your clients as well, if I have a client who says, well, I'm looking for a house under $1 million. Okay, great. What area? Well, let's look in Esquimalt. Okay, let's find you a home in Esquimalt under $1 million. Oh, but what about this one in View Royal? Okay, well, we'll go over to View Royal. And what about this one in Souk? Oh, you want to see Souk too? Okay. Oh yeah, and I think maybe I'd like to see a townhouse. Oh, okay, a townhouse. And I and I've shown, and they're all different. And like, what is it you really after here? I'm not able to kind
Uh-oh. I think we have a frozen Andrew.
together and
Yes.
okay. Jen, could you hear me? Everything
What
went,
happened there?
I don't
All
know,
of a
everything went
sudden,
dark.
yeah,
Everything went dark and
it's still showing live.
yeah, we're still here. So just one of the things that
Good old
happens with
Yes.
with recordings, the internet sometimes blocks us and so forth. But yeah, anyway, I was just saying sometimes it's hard to get to know what a client wants. And
Yeah.
when I find that happens, sometimes it's because I'm not asking the right questions. Sometimes it's because they really truly don't yet know what
They
they
don't
want
know.
and haven't settled
Yeah.
into it.
It's a process. Yeah.
Mhm. Totally.
And
And so,
sometimes I find even for clients that have, like lost out on a particular making an offer or what have you, the next when it's meant to be. And sometimes
mhm,
people do need to go through those, trial and error or um, go through the process and see what it's
yeah,
about. And then,
yeah,
when the right one comes along, everything aligns as it should. So,
yes. That's one of the conversations I've been having a lot lately with clients because um, seeing this high inventory of listings right now, seeing that but yet also feeling like the market is tightening up and we are spinning our wheels. We are not getting the same traction we used to get. Where if someone wants to write an offer, we can write it, come to terms with the other seller, with the other parties, and then go on about our business of doing business. Um, we are missing out on properties that are already under contract. We are missing out in multiple offers. We have to be a lot more sort of on it and more active. What was my point? I don't remember now. This is one of the problems with getting older.
are you frozen? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm frozen.
Your brain's still
Yeah,
frozen. Yeah.
my brain freezes too. It's one of the problems with the internet. I'm connected to the
Yes.
internet now with my brain. Yeah, I think the market is going to tell us very soon whether or not we are in a blip where this heating up is a blip and enough buyers have come into the marketplace to put some extra heat on, but it will evaporate again and we're going to go back to the market we had before. Or are we moving to a new, I like to think of it as are we moving up a level to a new plateau, or are we going up and then going to come back down a little bit after the heat is off?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's we can't say that in advance. We only know that by looking back on it. But this can happen. The spring market can happen either of those ways.
Yes, I speaking from personal experience too, I mean, I when it's not, how do I word this? Like, when everyone wants to do something, I have the personality that I kinda step back and go, "Well, wait a minute, do I wanna do that?" I'd rather do it
Right.
when not everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like now's the time to get a good deal on a property and to take advantage of the amount of supply that there is out there and potentially getting a reduced price or what have you. But you
You,
have to take action to do that.
you do. You do. And I think if you do that today, you would have been better off a couple months ago. And
Right.
literally had someone reach out recently who said, I want to take advantage of the current slow market. I want to take advantage of the fact that prices are lower than they have been for a while. So I'm looking to pick up an investment property. And
Mm.
I set them up on a search, and they identified some properties they wanted to see. And of course, every property they wanted to see was either, again, already sold or under contract, or even under contract and currently negotiating a backup offer. And so, it's got those feelings like we're back in the time of the multiple offers and people throwing their hat in the ring and making no condition offers. And again, we lost to no conditions on one of the offers recently. It's definitely not, I would not say we're going back to the COVID pandemic panic, I guess, of the purchasing. I wouldn't,
No.
I'm not advocating that people, think we've got to move on this, but I think the people who were waiting to take advantage of things may have waited just a little too long right now.
Well,
Yeah.
and the stats always show that too, right? The best
Yeah.
time to buy is November, December if you really want to get a good deal.
Yeah, totally. But again, I'm the same way. I want to zig when other people zag. I don't want to do what the crowds are doing. And but it is really important to monitor and watch what the crowds are doing, because it really does inform, where we could be going. And in the middle of winter, sellers are a lot more, I guess, pessimistic, and they're more willing to take a less price point. They don't have the same. They don't get to look around and say, well, other people are selling for, like, things are popping, other people are selling. I can hold to my price because the messaging is saying it's a good time to sell. They don't have those messages when there's less sales and there's less activity. It's more isolating in winter.
Yeah.
But anyway, is this a depressing spring talk, or is this a positive spring talk? I want people to feel like some positivity here as well. Yeah.
So we've got a long weekend coming up.
We do.
Yeah, if the weather's not too amazing, I'm sure that will create some activity at the open houses.
Get out there for the long weekend. Go enjoy the May Day festivities. Get to the Celtic Festival if you need to at Topaz Park. But if you need a break from that, come to, one of our open houses we'll be hosting this weekend, because we will be working this weekend as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. I think, have you got anything else you want to add to this, Jen, or do you feel like we've kind of completed this one up?
I think we've had a good discussion here on, what's happening this week in our world.
Yeah, totally. Okay. All right. Well, this is the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show. Your hosts are Andrew Plank and Jen Lowe and Jane Johnston. And we love to have feedback from you. I hear from so many of my colleagues that they do listen to our show in the downtimes or when they're driving in their car. And we hear from clients that are listening to our show. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate the feedback. And we love hearing that you are listening and getting something of value from this. If you want to help us to grow, then please like the show. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss future episodes. And please interact with the show and comment. We will respond. If you have any suggestions for future show topics, if you have suggestions or want to be a guest, please reach out and certainly share this far and wide for us. We'd appreciate it. I'm Andrew Plank. I'm with the Vibe Collective at Royal LePage. And to reach me directly, give me a call at 250-360-6106. Email me at info@andrewplank.com. And also we have the Real Vibe website, www.realvibe.ca, where we have lots of resources, business directory, strata buildings in Victoria with units for sale, etc. Tell us about yourself, Jen.
Yes, I am Jen Lowe, mortgage broker with Modern Mortgage Group through Dominion Lending. My cell number 250-217-4925. Email is jen@jenlow.ca, and my website is jenlow.ca.
Excellent, thank you. And Jane Johnston wasn't able to join us today to participate in the conversation, but we will see her next week. So if you want to reach out to Jane, she's with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, and her number is 250-744-0775. Email is jane@briarhillgroup.com, and her website is briarhillgroup.com. She's also on Instagram as realtyteacher_Remax_Victoria. So we are going to broadcast the show later today. We hope you enjoy it, and we really appreciate you. Thanks so much. We come to you every Tuesday in the afternoon, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much.
You bet. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on the Greater Victoria Real Estate Show.
We're here weekly, bringing you up-to-date insights on the Greater Victoria real estate market.
Make sure to follow and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you listen to podcasts so you'll never miss an update.
We'll be back next week with more clarity around what's happening and what it means for you.